So it's my first king salmon.
Welcome back, guys, to Alaskan Savage. We really appreciate your guys' support and watching our videos. But I wanted to talk a little bit about the Hellcat rods. I own and operate J&J charters out of Southeast Alaska, and I'm always looking for something new to try. These rods I've got almost 2 years in on the boats, and I've got 4 rental boats and a charter boat. And if you can imagine, 90 days worth of use or more continuously, this gear gets its butt handed to it. A lot of the times in halibut situations with big currents or deep water, I'm having to, continuously drop down to 300 to 350 feet of water. Here goes. They're real. Watch your rod tip.
What we got, buddy?
That halibut. Or I'll be in a scenario where I will have 4 pounds of lead on and only be in 150 to 180 feet of water, but I'll have to let out 500 to 600, sometimes more, of line just to be able to hold the gear on the bottom to be where the halibut live. So these rods take a continuous butt whooping.
My God, as much huffing and puffing is going on, he's reeling in Moby Dick.
No kidding.
Woo! And 4 pounds of lead on a rod is no joke. And when you've got to drop it down 20 to 50 times a day, if not more, and either check your bait or reel in fish, the guides hold up well. The reel seats are nice and sturdy. They're easy to lock down a rod. You got a problem with a reel, you just change it out super quick. They pulled a semi with that rod, hooked it to a truck, attached it to a bumper on a mount, and pulled a semi with that. Never broke it. And then the trolling rod that they got, it's a really light action. It's a little flipping stick almost. And they hooked it to a forklift, and I think the guy weighed 148 pounds. They put him in a harness, fall harness, and hooked it up to the rod and picked him up with a forklift, and it never broke. And then another guy goes out and works over a tree, and then they slam it in the car door and slam it in the tailgate, and then they grab the tip of it and bend it around to itself, and they don't blow up. And I was like, well, I run a lot of clients that are really hard on gear. Maybe will save me a little bit of it. So, but they come in a wide variety of colors, and this is the new color they're coming out with. This is kind of tackle banded series, but you can get all these. These are all Hellcats. They all come from the same place, made with the same materials. The only difference is this comes in blue. They come in green. They come in pink. They come in orange. I own probably close to 40 of these. I don't know if you've ever run a rental business of any kind, but most of the time when people rent your stuff, they don't really care about it. It's there to be rented, and or they just don't know how to work the rod or how to hold it. They're not indestructible, folks. They are tough, and I do like them, and I'll go into a few reasons why I like them. I have had a few casualties with these rods, but 9 times out of 10 is when a client brings a nice halibut to the boat and he lifts it straight up in the air, and that fish hits the top of the water and just starts throwing violent head shakes.
Nice, John.
And so all of the bend in the rod, instead of, this rod is built to bend all the way to the reel. And what happens is all the bend gets put right between the third and fourth guide, and it can't handle it's just very violent. I don't know how to explain it, but when this rod is designed to bend all the way through, and then all of a sudden it just comes up to the top because someone's got it stood straight up, that rod's got nowhere to go but the top end, and it gets snapped. So, but the customer service is phenomenal. I work with Amanda quite a bit. If I have any issues or I think that things could be different on the rods, they help me out with it. They're great. And I've had a few broken ones, and I've taken a picture of it, sent it to her, bam, I get another rod in the mail like that. And that is key in the area that I live in. Everything's got to be delivered by float plane or, by barge or ferry. So it's really nice to be able to get that product right away, and they're great with it. They come in these sleeves, these protective sleeves. They're kind of like a neoprene material, a light neoprene material, but they're nice. They're nice for storage. I use them for traveling. If I'm going to take a rod and travel, they're a little hard to travel with because they're a 7/6 rod. They don't break down, but I am going to take one of these rods or two of them, and I'm going to go try it on some big game fish, warm water big game fish. That's definitely one of my plans down the road. But if you guys haven't seen these rods in action, try to get a hold of one, try one out. I don't think you'll be disappointed. Another reason why I use them, a lot of traditional halibut fishermen, or most halibut fishermen, like a short stubby rod, and they're great. I've been fishing shorter stubby rods, 5 foot, 5.5 foot. They're pretty much like a broom pole. And you can get some manufacturers that pump out some really nice limber ones, that you can feel it. But what I like about the longer rod is I extended my boat a couple years ago and made a ton more room, but I had to go to twin Hondas on it. And with that said, it took away a lot of my landing area on my boat. When you're fishing anchored up in pretty stiff current, everything's got to be brought back to the back most of the time and landed or dealt with back there. I mean, you've got to be able to take the hooks out, whatever. It's all going to be on that back deck. So with that said, I can't take a short rod if the wind's blowing me one way and I'm anchored another in the current. The short rods just don't keep the lines away from the boat enough. Go ahead, just keep it over that way.
Oh, yeah, Buffalo. Oh, dang.
They like to come in, rub in on next to the boat. If I've got to work around the motors, it's really hard for me to take a short rod. I have to jump over the back of the transom or the back of the gunnel, walk around the swim step, work it around both of the big Honda 250s, and be able to bring it to the other side of the boat. With these longer rods, I'm able to swing them around, move them wherever I want them, and I can run 3 rods out the back. With a short rod, the 3 rods stick out the back in a pole holder most of the time, and you got your 2 motors out the back, and your lines are always rubbing on the engine cowling with a short rod. You just cannot get beyond the back of the engine cowling. So with these rods, I've got just enough length to get past the edge of the engine cowling, and I love it. I mean, I don't think I'll ever go back to another short rod. I don't want it any longer than this, but these work really well for the situation that I'm fishing them in, and I like that all the load gets transferred all the way to the reel. They're just not a fast action rod. I'm not a big fast action guy. I like a moderate action, and these do really well. We've landed up to a 288 pound fish this year, this last season, and it handled it very well. It put a bend in it.
What's the biggest halibut? What's the biggest halibut that you've caught?
On this boat, it's 386. I've got 10 fish over 300. I don't know how many over 200. I've got only 1 fish this year over 200. It was 202. And then I've got my biggest one this year so far is 265. But it handled it really well. It was a 288 pounds, I'm pretty sure is what the fish weighed, and we were in probably 3 to 4 knot current. And I mean, it was a battle. We had to break loose from the anchor and chase it down, but hopefully my editor Jason's gonna throw in some footage of these rods in action, and you'll get to see them. But please check out the rods. I don't think you'll be disappointed. I understand that these rods that they're fishing for a lot of different big game species, and what I fish here in Alaska, I have not been disappointed. So check them out. If you guys are interested in ordering them, please check out catchthefevers.com. And if you decide to order, you want to try one out, which I highly recommend, just go to the promo code after your order and put in Alaskan Savage, and you'll get a 10% discount on your order. I don't think you'll be disappointed. Know where your meat comes from.